Should you use a clutch when changing gears on a dirt bike? There's a lot of debate about this, and as with many questions, there's no one right answer to suit everyone. Motorbikes use a different type of transmission to cars, a sequential gearbox that does allow changing gears without a clutch. Just pause to read more. So can you ignore the clutch when changing gears? Yes. Should you ignore the clutch when changing gears? That is a harder question to answer. A lot of motocross riders don't use the clutch when changing gears to get maximum acceleration. Their three main techniques are the power shift, clutchless shift, then the full power clutchless shift. Personally, I cringe when I imagine full throttle and just forcing a gear change without the clutch. But some motocross riders do this, and the gearboxes are designed to cope with the stress. Apparently, it's less common a technique with larger capacity bikes, and motocross riders often make it easier for the gearbox by changing gear when the rear wheel has bounced over a bump. Or they will even quickly weight then de-weight the pegs for that clutchless gear change without backing off the throttle. Does the full power clutchless shift wear out the gearbox faster? The consensus appears to be yes. A lot of motocross riders say they won't use this technique if they plan on keeping their bike for years. Others do it if they buy a new bike every season. Enduro bikes essentially use the same gearbox as their motocross cousins, so the good news is your gearbox is designed to take a lot of abuse. Enduro riders tend to use the clutch more for gear changes because saving those fractions of a second in a race aren't so important. For guys who don't use the clutch, the key is no load on the gearbox when changing gear. When shifting to a higher gear, you back off the throttle temporarily, and there's a split second where there is zero load on the gearbox, and the gear change will be effortless. When changing down gears, the key is to apply just enough throttle to remove any engine braking. Again, this means there is no load on the gearbox, so the gear change should place little stress on the gearbox. If you do want to learn gear changes without the clutch, I suggest start with the higher gears. The gear ratios aren't so wide from third to top gear, and it's easier to get a smooth shift without the clutch. Don't ram the gear lever up or down, but also don't be hesitant and make the gear change too slow and gentle. Generally, it is easier to do gear changes without the clutch on smaller capacity bikes. Also, it is easier on enduro and motocross bikes. Dual sports bikes like the DRZ 400 or DR650 still have a sequential gearbox, but I find they are a bit more clunky as they are built to last a long time, so the clutchless gear change takes a little bit more finesse to get right. Is there any point in learning how to change gears without the clutch? Many dirt riders use the clutch for every single gear change, and that's great. It will minimise wear on the gearbox in the long term, and it's the easy, foolproof way to change gears. The benefits of clutchless gear changes? Faster gear changes mean more acceleration and power to the ground. There's less strain on your left hand, so less fatigue and arm pump. If you run an auto clutch, it lets you remove the clutch lever and replace it with a left-hand rear brake instead. And of course, you have more fingers on the handlebars more of the time for better grip. The downside of clutchless gear changes, it will put slightly more wear on the dogs and various parts of your gearbox. The timing and focus required mean it's probably best to learn your basic dirt riding skills first. And if you have mechanical empathy, that crunch or clunk when you get it wrong never feels good. It's also a bit harder to master on dual sports bikes or any enduro bike with a larger capacity engine. Just pause to read more. Have fun shifting those gears. Anyone got further tips? I'll post them here.